Hello everyone and welcome back to the Any Journey devlog series. I fixed the problems from last week's episode, my laptop is running smoothly and we can get back on track. Now this week I've not only fixed the programs on my laptop, I've also fixed a bunch of issues in the game. I said last week that it was about time that I started polishing up the game a bit, and with version 0.10.0 I started doing exactly that. I've exterminated a bunch of bugs and made some changes. So today I will rapid fire go over all of the fixes and changes made. At the end I do have a little addition because I couldn't help myself. First of all, the merchant's UI runs about 2 times faster now. You can't punch people anymore when clicking in the merchant's menu. You were blocked from punching people in all other menus, apparently not the merchant's menu. You can now deselect a map tag when clicking on any spot that isn't the button on this expanded tag. Accessory material name typos. The dodge error texture is now gone and is replaced by the correct fading texture. You can't open menus when you're dead. The nation size stat isn't ridiculously huge anymore. Apparently at some point something I did disabled the smooth camera, which I haven't noticed up until now, so it's re-enabled now, hooray! I disabled switching loadouts because the new UI doesn't support it and the game would crash if you tried. The inventory was sometimes allowing you to equip already equipped items in another slot. Trades could be made even though the trade was impossible. Trade items weren't properly removed from inventories and the inventory list did not have the proper length for scrolling, meaning that it would cut off at the end. As to the changes that I made, first of all, the calculation of gold value of items has been changed. Previously, items could get ridiculously expensive or ridiculously cheap. Now it's somewhere in the middle and items can be quite expensive but reasonably expensive, and they can be quite cheap but reasonably cheap. You are now not allowed to trade with some merchants like the barmaid, so you can't unload your whole stock of 10 wooden swords on the poor barmaid. When you're well rested you now get a bonus effect, and the tiredness is disabled for now, because you get very tired very quickly when you travel in the world. And you can now finally actually scroll with your mouse wheel on scrollable lists. You'd think that this was already implemented, but you'd be wrong because it wasn't. Up until now you'd have to click the scroll bar, which no one does in real life. I mean, who clicks the scroll bar? That's so 2010. I lowered the minimum level for certain enemies so that bandits and cultists are easier for low level players. And there's now a little tip in the dialogue box to tell you that the dialogue continues, so you don't just leave in the middle of a conversation, which would be very rude. Now, haha, we get to the little addition part. Now this addition is a little bit technical. I've added a new text rendering method which allows you to specify in-string colors and even in-string icons. This means that all of the skill descriptions have now a little color indicating the stat that is changed, and also a little icon for every stat. There's a different icon. I think this makes the text a bit clearer, and once you start to get accustomed to the different colors, you will immediately know what kind of stat it is improving, because you already know the color or the icon or whatever. Now I finally implemented something which I mentioned about 15 devlogs ago, something like that, which is that when you draw a bow or any other ranged weapon, your camera now kind of moves in front of you in the middle between your mouse and the player. This allows you to kind of aim a bit farther than you would when the camera is just on the player. Anyway, there are now 2 added skills, which is quick draw and eagle eyes for ranged speed and ranged vision range respectively. So yeah, those were the changes this week. I have been playtesting this week as well, which is how I noticed some of these things that needed fixing. And I will continue doing this until I will eventually release beta. This is the last alpha version, I promise. That's it. I hope you have a good day or good night. All I know is I'm out. Goodbye, see you next week. Hope you enjoyed, etc, etc. I will see you in the next episode of the devlog series.